We're interrupting your regular programming to bring you a special Veterans Day ceremony. I'm Aaron Baker, and today the Thomas and Vivian A. Wong Honor Tower at Unity Park will be dedicated ahead of the public grand opening that takes place this Friday. Seen as a beacon of hope, the tower stands 10 stories tall in the sky, 125 feet tall. We have our Jane Robelo at Unity Park this afternoon with the latest and what we can expect as we go throughout the ceremony. Jane?
Aaron, good morning. Governor Henry McMaster has just arrived. Let us take you straight to the podium where you'll hear from the Reverend Stacy Mills. Stacy is the pastor of Mountain View Baptist Church, one of the neighborhoods right here in this community, and a person who had a great deal to do with the formation of this park. Here's Stacy Mills.
Mayor, today we celebrate this remarkable milestone, the grand opening of the Thomas and Vivian A. Wong Honor Tower. This tower is a lasting tribute to those who serve and protect our community. Unity Park represents the best of what we can accomplish together. And today we witness the completion of another significant landmark that honors the values that make our city great. The Honor Tower now rises as a visible reminder of our debt to the courageous individuals who protect us every day. They ask for nothing in return, but they have earned our deepest respect and gratitude. And it shines as a light on the historic Southern Side and West Greenville neighborhoods. This structure, the surrounding gardens, and the Philip J. Carlton Plaza now stand for generations as a permanent expression of our thanks and a monument to the spirit of service that defines the very best among us. As we dedicate the Honor Tower, we honor the commitment and courage of those who have worn the uniform, our veterans and active military, police officers, firefighters, paramedics, nurses, and all those who answer the call to serve. All around you today are representatives of the branches of the military, our police, our fire, emergency medical technicians, and utility linemen. I encourage each of you to be sure to take a moment this morning to thank them for their service to our community. Now, please join me in welcoming all of our public officials here with us today, starting with the Honorable Governor Henry McMaster and Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette. Our Greenville City Council members, Mayor Knox White, Mayor Pro Tem Lillian Brock Fleming, Will Brazington, John DeWorkin, Dorothy Dow, and Ken Gibson. Councilman Russell Stahl could not be with us this morning. I'd also like to welcome Council Member-elect Tina Belge. Congratulations. Let's welcome our City Council members. I would like to also welcome members of our state and federal legislative delegations, State Senator Jason Elliott, State Representative Chandra Dillard, Angie Omar from Senator Lindsey Graham's office, Danielle Gibbs from Senator Tim Scott's office, Seth Blanton from Representative William Timmons' office, and our Greenville County Council members here with us today, Liz Seaman, Frank Farmer, and former council chairman Butch Kirven. May I ask please for all of our public officials and Chandra Dillard with us to stand and be acknowledged. I don't want to leave anyone out. Please stand. Thank you. I also want to express my deepest appreciation for the military, veterans, and first responders who are here today. We are deeply grateful for the work that you do. I want to specifically mention Greenville Police Chief Howie Thompson, Greenville Sheriff Hobart Lewis, and Greenville Fire Chief Brian Horton, and our law enforcement officers and firefighters from neighboring towns. May I ask all of our veterans and first responders who are here with us today to stand and be acknowledged. Let us open this ceremony with a moment of reflection and gratitude. The Greenville Police Department Honor Guard will present the colors, and Lady Tia Battle will lead us in the national anthem. Please stand for the presentation of colors.
Early but so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say doth that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
You may be seated, please. And now, I'd like to call your attention toward the sky as we are joined by Jim Burris and Daniel H.D. Singer from the Flying Tigers parachute team from Anderson. They are landing to my left, your right. Jim is a U.S. Army veteran and a graduate of the U.S. Army Airborne School of Fort Benning, Georgia. He currently works for the Greenville County Sheriff's Office. Daniel is a skydiving instructor. Daniel is a skydiving instructor and holds USPA's highest license. Daniel is a U.S. Army veteran with 6 years of service and 2 years of deployment to Afghanistan. Please, let's give them another round of applause. It's now my pleasure and distinct honor to introduce our mayor, Mayor Knox White.
I thought the governor came first. Yeah. Wow, what a glorious day for all of us here. Thank you all for being here. Of course, to our veterans, to our police and fire, and for the donors who are here who made this day possible, to the residents of Southern Side and West Greenville who made this day possible. Believe it or not, this is the 15th ceremony here on the site of Unity Park, as we opened various sections along the way over the last 3 years. But this is the last. This is the exclamation point. I want to also begin by recognizing my city council members. We did it up front, but I'm going to do it again. Lillian, Dorothy, Ken, Will, John, a great team, and I appreciate them being here. But let me tell you something else. Ken Gibson is our veteran in the group. And Lillian Brock Fleming is a Blue Star mother, 3 sons in the military. And I remember when the Iraq War was going on, there was a lot of worry there. There was a lot of worry there. She came to the council meetings during that time. So Lily, she was day 2. Well, you may remember the grand opening of the park in when was it? May 2022. We opened the first phase on the other side of the river. It was a glorious day. And even that very first day, we knew something was happening. We knew that people had gotten the message. This was once a segregated park. The black park there and the white park here. The message of Unity Park, the name Unity Park, what it meant, the history, the story going back to the 1930s of this neighborhood and what used to be here. We knew the first day that people kind of got it because they came from all around. Massive crowds of people showed up the first day. And all of you know who live here that Unity Park on any day, especially weekends, is unbelievable. The diversity of people here, the sheer numbers, young and old, everyone loves Unity Park. It's a phenomenon. And we see that all the time. But at that grand opening day, we were all kind of swept up in the moment because look at all the people, all kinds of people who came for the grand opening. And Reverend Byron Battle, where are you, Brian? Where are you, Byron? Here he is. He's the pastor of the church right on the hill over here, Tabernacle Baptist. And maybe it was just a moment in time he got up here and he looked at the crowd and he said, "This must be what heaven looks like." Remember that? And it does. Well, what he didn't know, we had more to come. Heaven had to wait. We had a whole nother phase of the park on this side of the river to be about. When the park was designed by the neighborhood involvement over the course of 5 years actually, the neighborhood, West Greenville, southern side, always knew what they wanted. It was a fascinating process. What do you want to have here? And one thing was clear, folks wanted this park to be one of a kind. Not like any park in the whole United States, something about it different than just green space and park. And they got back to the topic of the idea of the tower, which had actually been first proposed way back in 2010. Some kind of tower, some kind of focal point for the park. But that became kind of a fixation for the folks in the planning process. Mary Duckett, Stacy Mills, and so many others, because it would make it so different. Something iconic, something as good as the Liberty Bridge in Falls Park. You know, what would that be? So hence the Honor Tower. And by the way, the significance of that for the neighborhood, beyond just the iconic nature, is that over here, behind us, Reverend Mills, is Mountain View Baptist Church. Been here since 1920. Consider the name, Mountain View. Well, here's the truth. It hadn't had a mountain view in about 50 years. But it used to have a mountain view. It used to have a mountain view. That's why it was put there. That's why it was named for that. Before the railroad built up these embankments and the trees grew out. So from the very beginning, they said, we want to reclaim the mountain view, the view of the Blue Ridge Mountains, hence the tower. Then the second thing that came up again and again was this isn't just a neighborhood park, it's a community gathering place. And what would that be like? Well, I want to go back to a conversation not long ago with then County Council Chairman Butch Kirven. We had a ceremony to commemorate a fallen police officer. And Butch and I went to the ceremony, and it was held at the Law Enforcement Center Plaza. It's a very small place, right up against the traffic, the trucks. We could barely hear the speakers. And we walked out of there and talked about, you know, Greenville deserves better. Our police officers deserve better. We need a place, an appropriate place, a dignified place for ceremonies such as that. So hence was born the idea of that might be what this space could be for, to honor our veterans in an appropriate way, in a dignified day. We're here today, but this will be something for generations to honor first responders, to honor our veterans. This is the spot. And hence that idea as well, a place of dignity. So today, Today, we inaugurate the Philip Carlton Memorial Plaza. Here. Philip Carlton was a great supporter of law enforcement. We also honor the Thomas and Vivian Wong Honor Tower. If you want an American story, an American success story, just hear the story of Vivian and Thomas Wong. They lived it. So at a time of so much division and even dysfunction in America, the people of Greenville still come together for a common cause and achieve great things. Reverend Battle, we don't know what heaven looks like, but we do know what our city looks like. It looks like Unity Park. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor White. Now please join me in welcoming Velda Hughes.
How about this, y'all? How about this? Knox said that we have had 15 events of this sort. Well, I have had 233 lunches and meetings with all of y'all. So you don't have anything up on me, Knox. I cannot tell you how excited I am about today. For me, it's been 7 years, but for these council members and Knox, it's been 20 years. This is something, I see you, Lillian, shaking your head. This is something that y'all have worked on for a long, long time. I came out here today at 6:30, and there was one other person out here, and I was just walking around, and I thought, wow, this is so, so great. And while I was out here, y'all, this is a very true story, my phone rang, and I thought, for God's sakes, why can't I be left alone out here to look at my park by myself? And it was one of the donors, and y'all are really going to laugh. He said, I just got to know something, Velda. Are you going to talk 5 minutes, or are you going to talk 30 minutes? And I said, I am going to talk as long as it takes me to thank all the people that I want to thank. And he said, so where do you think that's going to be? And I said, I don't know. I said, from the way you're acting, I think it's best if you don't come. and he is not here. So it's okay with me. I'll call him up today and tell him he missed a really great day. And it is such a great day. I mean, really, y'all, just look how gorgeous this place is. And it's not just the tower, y'all. It's all of it. It's all 60 acres. It's just incredible. Now, on my notes, I really wanted to thank the city council. Y'all have already been thanked twice, but I'm going to thank you again because I want everybody to understand this was a massive undertaking by a lot of people, and it never would have happened without this city council. So I'm going to make y'all stand up, and stay standing. Each one of you, all of you. Mayor White, Lillian Brock Fleming, Will Brasington, John DeWorkin, Dorothy Dow, Ken Gibson, and Russell Stahl's not here. But I want y'all to get a hard look at these people because they have worked tirelessly on this. And I think I know better than anybody how much time they put in it. And I just really, just as a person, I just want to thank y'all so much for what y'all have given to us. So thank you so much. And the other person that deserves a lot of thank you is Shannon Laverne, our city manager. So Shannon, would you stand, please? Thank you. I can't tell you how fortunate we are to have Shannon. She's like a real person, and so you can go to her and say, Shannon, I don't think so, and she'll go, well, Velda, you just need to think about it. And I go, I already thought about it. But anyway, she is extraordinary, and I don't think she's ever said, like, absolutely no, that's impossibility. She said, we're going to work on it. So Shannon and the city council, I just think y'all have no idea what y'all have done for so many people for so long, and I thank you. Now, in specific, and I'm not going to keep you 30 minutes, I promise, but I want to start with Prisma Health. Prisma, Mark O'Hala, they had already done the Welcome Center on the other side. They had made a major gift, and it is lovely, and I hope you've all been in there. It's a great thing, and it's on the other side of the park. But one day, he and his wife, Anita, who's here, they took a walk on the Swamp Rabbit Trail, and I looked at my phone, and it says Mark O'Hala, and I thought, oh, my God, I got to answer that. So anyway, I answered his call, and he said, Velda, why haven't y'all started the tower? And I said, well, we're trying. And I said, there's one problem, Mark, and it's Shannon. And Shannon will not let us start until we have the money. And I don't have the money. And he said, well, how much do you need? And of course, I told him more than I needed. But I said, I need this. And then maybe Shannon will say we can start. And so he said, well, let me think about this. Let me talk to some people. And 2 days later, my phone rang, and he said, you know that amount of money you needed? You got it. And so, Mark, thank you. Could you stand, please? So, Prisma Health, I can't say enough about it. We would not have that tower today. It would probably be like another year. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And then the very first gift that we ever got was from Sharon and Heather Carlton. They were not able to come today, but as Knox told you, all the area around the tower, that was all contributed by Sharon and Heather in honor of her husband and her father. So we thank her for that very much. AT&T, Terrence, would you stand? Thank you. I think some of you probably remember Jane Soulsby. She's retired, but she was all about this park. And the very last month that she was there, she said, Velda, I promise we're going to give you money. We're going to find money. And not only did she find money, AT&T has given us, they gave us money in 2019, 2020, and 2021. So Terrence, thank you. Thank you so much. Another really special thing, and if any of y'all were around here tonight, the city has been so kind. We are turning the lights on tonight. We're turning the lights on, and I think it's going to be red, white, and blue tonight. I hope so. And Shannon, red, white, and blue, you make everything happen. So anyway, so if you want to come by here tonight, the lights will come on. And one of our final visits, Knox and I, we went to the Hartness family. We went to Pat Hartness, Sean Hartness, and we said, we've got all the money to build everything great, but we need the money to have the tower lit. And so the Hartness family gave us that money, and they'll all be here tonight. Pat and Sean said they don't normally go to things twice in one day, so they would come tonight. All right, surrounding the garden, surrounding the tower are gorgeous gardens. But y'all know it was 25 degrees last night. So we could not plant everything because we didn't want everything to freeze. But if you look up on that hill, there are all kinds of pansies, all kinds of gorgeous flowers, and all of that will be planted as soon as the weather breaks a little bit. So I want to thank the people that have done the gardens. Billy and Teresa Webster, they gave the money to do a garden in honor of Billy's mother, Lanny Webster. They're not able to come today. Billy wrote a book, and he's on a world tour doing his book. So he's not here today, But Lanny, you'd love your garden. I've got to look up there, Lanny. You would love the garden that Billy paid for, so it's going to be beautiful. Smythe McKissick also did a garden in honor of his mother, Noel P. McKissick. And both of these ladies were master gardeners, so Minor, you know, they had wonderful taste when it came to flowers, so that's going to be really pretty. All right, Surendra and Neely, y'all stand up. And y'all stay standing. I have met with these two lovely, lovely people many times, and they are doing a very special garden. It's hard for me to say this, but Ahimsa Garden of Peace. And Surendra and I talked on the phone a good bit the last week or two, and the most important thing that he wanted me to get across, it doesn't matter about the garden to him. What really matters is that we have peace in our community. And Neely, I mean, you felt the same way. And so I promised y'all with all my heart that I would talk about peace. And so, Surendra, I hope that you feel good about today, and thank y'all so much. And your garden is going to be gorgeous, gorgeous. Just let it grow a little bit, okay? Thank you. Thank y'all so much. And then Jan McCrary, she's not here today. By the way, she is at a veterans hospital. She wanted to spend all day with the veterans that are in the hospitals, but she did a garden too in honor of her grandchildren. Okay, John Paston and Emily, can y'all stand up, please? And go ahead, the daughters stand up too. Come on. All right, and the gorgeous flag pole and all of that area, and it's not complete either, but they funded all of that. And I have to say something about Joe today, too. John started this in honor of his brother that's deceased, Joe Paston. But he and his family and the Roy family, they did the entire area of where the flag is in that area. And John, Emily, all of y'all, thank y'all so much. Thank you. And I know Joe would be so proud today. Thank you. And on the tower, y'all, it took a lot of money to build that tower. So each one of those pillars are very expensive. And those were very costly. And we had to sell a lot of those, Shannon. Anyway, Rick Pennell, and is Rick here today? I don't think Rick is here. And then a very dear friend of mine who always comes through is Bo Gossett. Bo, can you stand? And I don't see Donna, but and Bo's here with his daughters, Curry and Jane. And grandchildren, I think, too. Okay. One son-in-law. But one of the pillars, Bo did that. And then Doug Harper, I saw you over there. Doug, you want to stand up? Doug also funded a pillar, and I would like David to stand up, too. You did not fund a pillar, but no. You did, David, you did even a greater thing. David Wise is the president of Harper, and they built this entire park. So, David, great job. All right, y'all, I'm still going. Okay, throughout this area, there are gorgeous benches. And you got to have these benches because we got a lot of people that need to sit, including myself. And so the benches were all very costly too, and we sold all of those. Alex Estevez, can you stand? He purchased one of the. Both of y'all, go ahead and stand up. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Randall Bentley, I did not see Randall, but Randall also did one of those. And Nancy, gosh, can y'all stand Nancy Furman and her brother, Lynn Yergin? Nancy and Lynn, they funded one of the benches, and I have to say, I think you did it in honor of your dad. And that was Bob Yergin, so I know he'd be proud of y'all today. So it's a wonderful thing. The Todd Taylor family, I know y'all know Todd is deceased, but about 2 weeks before Todd died, he actually purchased one of these benches. So I wanted to say that. James Jordan, is James here? James? There you are. Thank you so much. Thank you, James. Okay, once you go inside, y'all are really learning a lot here. Quickly, when you go inside at the staircase, Southern Tide, Carrie Ann Campbell, they gave us the money to help do the inside. Carrie Ann, are you here? Okay. Brody Glenn gave money to honor his mom and dad. Lil Glenn and David Glenn. I don't think y'all were here. All right. Winton and Brett Swanson, I know y'all were here, so please stand. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. They were invaluable in helping fund the interior of the tower. And Mark White. Mark, I think you're here. Okay. I don't see Mark, but thank you. All right. And I have to thank Greenville County also. I know Liz was here, and I think Alan Mitchell. I think I saw Alan. Alan, thank you for being here. And Paul Wickensheimer, I saw you over there. Okay. And there's another council member right there. Thank you. Thank y'all all. On one of my sad days and I needed money, I came crying to y'all. Anyway, so thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. And visit Greenville also. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Medina and I were together on Sunday, and she said, Velda, please do a good job introducing my mom. Do you remember say that? And I thought, well, I'm usually just like off the cuff, but I'm going to do my best for you, Medina, and for Vivian. Vivian, I hope you listen to everything I say. But we would not be here, none of us, look around, we would not be here today without you. Okay, I'm not through. The day Knox called and said that Vivian had committed, it was a great day, y'all. It was a great day. It was the beginning of wonderful things. And Vivian, you are truly the American dream. 60 years ago, Vivian and Thomas moved from Hong Kong to Greenville. They opened the very first Dragon Den restaurant here in Greenville, but it grew to be a national success. I remember eating there about 40 years ago. As an entrepreneur with ventures spanning from real estate, hotels, international business, Vivian built more than just a business. She built bridges between cultures and created opportunities for so many other people. Vivian, you hired so many people that you provided a lot for those people. A devoted mother who raised 4 daughters. Wow, God, I've got one. That's, whew. 4 daughters. And Vivian, those daughters just love you to death. You embraced our city, and we embraced you and your family. Your generosity has touched countless lives through her donation of land for the Cancer Survivors Park. You may not have known that. Patewood Medical Campus. You worked tirelessly on the Greenville Tech Foundation Advisory Board. You did so much for Goodwill that people didn't even know about it, and on and on and on. Vivian, your fingerprint is on almost everything. If you look around Greenville and you say, well, how did that happen? And they'll say, Vivian Wong. With 4 daughters, and can y'all all raise your hand? There's 17 of y'all today. 4 daughters and grandchildren. Why don't y'all all stand? Everybody in Vivian's family, please stand. Thank y'all. Vivian, what I want you to also know, you taught all of these people to give back. I don't know every one of you, but I know a lot of the daughters, son-in-laws, and they all give back. And Vivian, you taught that. You taught them that. When Governor Nikki Haley appointed you as South Carolina's honorary trade ambassador, Vivian continued her mission of bringing international business and opportunity to Greenville. Vivian, we can't thank you enough. It's just been a joy to know you, and thank you for all you've done. And so now it's time for you and Medina to come here on the stage. And everybody, let's just give them a big hand of applause.
Wow, Velda. I have to follow that. Hi, my name is Medina Wong Cawthon. I am one of Thomas and Vivian Wong's daughters. On behalf of our family, we thank you for being here, braving the cold. We want to thank everyone that had any part in making the tower a reality. If you knew my dad, Thomas, you would know that he would have loved to watch this tower being built and everything that went into it. Vivian had a stroke 4 years ago that took away her ability to speak. But when we learned that the grand opening was going to be on Veterans Day, she's been working very hard to create a message, and I would like to play that message for you. Oh, I had it. Hold on.
Good morning. This tower is strength and unity. This is my honor. Help me.
Just say thank you. Just
Yes, thank you.
I got to say one more thing. Vivian, it is the Thomas and Vivian Wong Tower. And Medina said to make sure that I reference Thomas today. So I know Thomas is happy, Vivian. So, Vivian, Thomas is looking down at you today saying thank you. Thank you.
Shannon, I do not envy you to follow that. But please join me in welcoming our city manager, Shannon Lavrin.
No, I definitely am not in an enviable spot right now, but thank you very much. Well, good morning, everyone. Oh, we can do better than that. Good morning. Okay, that's much better. Well, it is definitely a privilege to be with each of you today at Unity Park, one of the most meaningful public spaces in our city, as we celebrate the opening of the Thomas and Vivian A. Wong Honor Tower. This structure stands tall as a visible symbol of gratitude to the men and women who have dedicated their lives to protecting and serving others. It honors our firefighters and police officers who put themselves in harm's way each day to keep our community safe. And it pays tribute to the veterans and active duty service members whose courage and sacrifice safeguard our freedoms. For the city of Greenville, this tower represents the best of who we are and reminds us that public service in any form is both a duty and a calling. To our police and fire departments, and I see a lot of them over there, so I'm going to aim this way. I want to express to you our deepest respect and appreciation as you serve on the front lines here in our community. Your courage under pressure is inspiring. You embody the very spirit this tower represents. You respond to every call with professionalism and heart. You show us day after day what it means to live a life of service. And our community is stronger, safer, and better because of you. We also extend our deepest respect and appreciation to the many city employees across all departments who are veterans, as well as those who continue to serve in various capacities. Many veterans choose to carry their commitment of service beyond their military careers, and we are honored that they have chosen to serve our community in a new and meaningful way. Thank you. Today, we proudly honor all of our veterans. As we dedicate this tower, we also honor the tremendous effort that brought this project to life. Unity Park is a testament to what can be achieved through persistence, collaboration, and shared purpose. First, I want to thank our city staff. Every single department played a part in getting this project across the finish line. They were responsible for getting this project designed, permitted, constructed, inspected, and completed for this glorious day today. Special thanks to our Parks, Recreation, and Tourism team. Now, I don't have as many thank yous as Velda did and asking people to stand up, but I would like Mr. Jeff Waters to please stand. Jeff Waters is the director of the city's project management team, and he has shepherded Unity Park for the past 12 years of his career. The Honor Tower, like every part of this space, bears the mark of his leadership, dedication, and deep care for this park. Jeff, on behalf of our entire city, we are so grateful for your service to this project and to the community. My sincere thanks also goes to our design and construction partners whose skill and creativity have transformed a vision into a lasting landmark. Specifically, I want to acknowledge Paul Andres and Dave Campbell from Andres Studio, as well as Harper Corporation and members of their on-site crew, Jeremy Conrad, Neil Wilson, Ren Moore, Brandon Manley, and Luke Caudell. And also to all of the many incredible subs that are here today, that without your specific craft, this would not have been possible. Thank you so much. Unity Park was built to bring people together, and it is especially meaningful that today, on Veterans Day, and yes, we did pick this day specifically, we gather to dedicate this tower in honor of those who serve our community and our country. May it always be a reminder to never lose sight of the values that unite us: service, compassion, and commitment to one another as neighbors and citizens. Thank you all for being here to honor those who serve and for helping us build a community worthy of service.
Thank you, Shannon. Next, please welcome Paul Endres, principal of Endres Studios.
Before we begin, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to those whose vision and commitment, those from this city, neighboring, have made this day possible. To Mayor Knox White, City Manager Shannon Lavrin, the members of Greenville City Council, Jeff Waters, and the Capital Projects team, Tara Eaker, and the Departments of Park, Recreation, and Tourism, and the many others who offered their thoughtful review and guidance throughout the process, thank you. To Thomas and Vivian A. Wong, and to the many generous donors who believe in this project helped bring this to life, thank you for your unwavering support. And to the community leaders of Southern Side and West Greenville, your energy, vision, activism, and fortitude have carried this effort forward from the very beginning. Without you, we would not be here today to celebrate the completion of this remarkable project and the realization of its shared vision. This project is unique. This is the first major observation tower that has been built in the United States in the last 25 years. And it was built from almost all local craftspeople and by Greenville, for Greenville. We also want to recognize our entire design team, including MKSK, CD&M, Seaman and Whiteside, and RWDI, for their dedication and complete buy-in to the vision for this tower. To the construction team led by Harper General Contractors, thank you for your tireless efforts to fulfill the promise of this design and to overcome the many technical and budgetary challenges along the way. That one was actually the hardest. And finally, to my team at Endres Studio, especially Dave Campbell. Your creativity, persistence, and technical skill have been extraordinary. We have been working on this vision for nearly 9 years, and we are overjoyed to see it realized and standing before us today. This achievement is a testament to your dedication, and it stands as a gift to the people of Greenville and to future generations. The Honor Tower is a symbol acting as a central feature within the remarkable Unity Park designed by Darren Meyer and his team at NKSK. The turning porous structure is a place to see and be seen, helping to link Unity Park and Falls Park in downtown Greenville. It now stands as the crowning jewel in Harlan Kelsey's original vision for Greenville's parks, stretching like emeralds on a necklace along the Reedy River and the Swamp Rabbit Trail. The Honor Tower is also a symbol to remember those who have served this community at home and abroad in times of challenge and in times of peace. The 6 pillars of the tower represent and recognize the bravery, dedication, and sacrifice of those who have served in the armed forces, the police department, the fire department, utilities and public works, EMS and medical services, and in public health. The concrete pillars and steel columns twist around the central core and converge to lift the observation deck, emblematic of the united effort of first responders and civil servants in providing stability in a constantly changing world. As the sun sets tonight, the tower will transform. It will glow from within, rising from the Swamp Rabbit Trail to the sky, a radiant spiral of color and light shining across the city. This evening, it will stand as a luminous tribute of pride, gratitude, and hope, honoring our first responders and all who serve this community on this Veterans Day. We are deeply honored to be part of the many elements that make up Unity Park. Yet among them all, we believe the Honor Tower will stand not only as an icon for the city of Greenville, but as one of the most impactful, dramatic, and meaningful works in our firm's history. Thank you, Greenville, for your vision, your trust, and your enduring spirit of unity.
Our next speaker is also the Honorable Mayor of Southern Side, Mary Duckett. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm bringing the mic to her down the stairs, so if you'll please give her a round of applause.
Of course, my heart is full. This has been a dream. This has been a vision. So this is the day the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Because had it not been for Him and the God in each one of you all that donated to make this happen, it would not have happened. One of the things that strikes me is the way the crowd looked. It put joy in my heart, and I hope it put joy in your heart, to see so many different nationalities and people who has never met one another be friendly to one another. Protocol has already been established when it comes to things. But during meetings, not only do you have someone that makes the motion, and of course that was Velda and the others that spoke, but you need a second. So I want you to know that I second everything that they have said. And there are a number of seconds that I could give, but we're going to count that all as one. There's someone standing in the crowd that really struck me when I first met him. His name is Bill. Bill, raise your hand over there. Bill Box, he did so much. He found out things about you that you didn't even know. So thank you, Bill. And again, this tower is so symbolic. Mayberry here, Meadowbrook there. I had came from a meeting down at Belmano's. We was asking for some money, and some people was trying to act funny. But so I come and my spirit was down, so I came around this way. And we had the bucket ride on the to see how tall the tower was going to be. And I looked and I called the mayor immediately. I said, you know what? Do you know not God has settled this already for us? Because I discovered within my thoughts, this is where Meadowbrook and where Mayberry was. It sits in the middle. During that time, this was segregated being. But God fixed it where we could bring it together in a unified way. So give God a hand. As a matter of fact, they took up a lot of my time, morning, evening, and night, to talk to people about this area. Look at us now. Huh? Look at us now. Southern side, West Greenville, peoples of Greenville, those that has never been here just moved here. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Mary. If parliamentary procedure serves me well, a motion is made, then it's second, and then someone has to carry the motion. So to carry the motion, please welcome the Honorable Governor Henry McMaster.
Thank you. Carry the motion, huh? All right. I want to thank whoever thought to invite me. I appreciate it very much. I haven't had an opportunity like this here in Greenville in a long time. Among other things, it gave me a chance to lay eyes on Vivian Wong again. It's been too long. Good to see you again, ma'am. And I didn't know about this whole family. You've done well. By the way, Greenville is full of unusual people. And Velda Hughes is one of them. But if y'all taking a look at the shoes that child is wearing today, where'd she go? Take a good look at them before you leave. I want to thank you for being here. This is a great thing. It reminds me of a little story. Listening to everybody speak about family and all of that is very true. It reminds me of a little story about a fellow that moved into a town, and he didn't know anybody, and he decided to pick them out of a little church. And at that particular church, the way they get the new folks to learn everybody, know who they are, get to meet them, is let them be an usher. So this young fellow was ushering week after week after week. Finally, one Sunday, he was helping an elderly lady down the front steps, and he just couldn't stand it anymore. He said, "Ma'am, I just got to say, that is the worst sermon I ever heard in my entire life." She says, "Son, do you know who I am?" He said, "No, ma'am, I don't." He said, "I'm the preacher's mama." He said, "Well, ma'am, do you know who I am?" She said, "No, I don't." He said, "Thank you, Jesus." We've already thanked God for everything, and we Mary, that was beautiful. Just a couple of things. Greenville, when I was growing up in Columbia, my parents had a lot of friends here, and I do now. But I remember the names, I remember them talking about their friends, and somehow it struck me along the way as a child that when they talked about Greenville, it made me think of money. And some things don't seem to change, as demonstrated by this today. But this is a beautiful city. And people all over the world are looking for places to go in the world to invest hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. And this is one of them. And it's not because this is a beautiful city. It couldn't be more beautiful. I remember Knox. I remember when I'm a little ahead of you in years, but I remember practicing law coming up here with my daddy. And we'd stay in the Poinsett Hotel. And man, it was beautiful. It was old, but it was beautiful. And then it sort of took a dive for a while. And so did downtown Greenville. Some of you remember when, gosh, I bet a third or a half of the storefronts were closed up, had paper on them. But boy, that came back alive. And I attribute that to the spirit of the people of Greenville. There's something about this place. There's something about South Carolina as well. And that's why we're booming. That's why everybody wants to come to South Carolina. There was one company that was looking at, I can't remember how many locations the site consultants had found for them, and they had 10 cities on there. And this Greenville was number 10. And the CEOs were looking at the papers and the statistics and said, I can't tell anything from these numbers. I got to go see for myself. So Greenville was number 10. Well, in the way they went, they didn't go all the way by those numbers, but they ended up the second or third one. They came to Greenville. They said they saw it, they tore up the thing, said, that's it. This is where we're coming. That is happening all over our state, and it is because of the people. It's because of the spirit of the people. It's because of our history, our culture, all that we've gone through over the years, starting in first the French and the Spanish were fighting, then the English came in, then the Lord's proprietors, and we were coming from all over the place. 9 European countries. I think it was something like 19 West African cultures that now make up 4 West African countries. And of course, the Native Americans or Indians, they'd been here for thousands of years, at least 10,000 years before everybody else got here. Everybody didn't want to come. Some were brought. Some came for more money. Some came to get rid of religious persecution. We didn't have any sort of religious test in this colony. Anybody could come. Everybody was welcome. And we have grown. We've been through every kind of battle. We've been in every war that the country has had, starting at the very beginning. We've had hurricanes, we've had earthquakes, we've had fires, we've had floods, and we're going to have more hurricanes. We have been through everything. Over those years, if you read Walter Edgar's book about South Carolina, you see that there was a crucible that was formed back then. That's my word, not his, but that's what he was talking about. And as more people came in, we were in that mold, and that's how our character, that's how our culture got created, and that's what keeps us strong. That's why we realize how important it is to honor our first responders. We couldn't do without them. Our military strength, our military history, this is a military state. All of those first responders, the men and women that wear the uniforms, are the ones that are the backbone of our culture and keep us strong in everything we do. So anything we can do to honor them, we should do. But I want to say thank you to all the people of this city. This city has been recognized as one of the best to live in the United States. I don't think that's going to ever change. I think our state is going up, up, up. I think this is the best place in the world to live, work, and raise a family, and I think we ought to shout that from the rooftops and don't be shy, because we have come a long way, and we got ways to go yet, because the top is way up there, but we are ahead of every other state in this country, and we need to realize it. So I'll finish with one more. Oh, I got to tell you 2 things. 2 men said something. I was at the 25th and 30th anniversary of BMW. That is the biggest, their biggest. They have 15 plants. That's the biggest one in the world, most productive. They got a new car rolling off the line every minute and 2 seconds. So there are plenty of them for you out there. Mark, they got one for you. Just tell them what you want. They'll have it there for you. And the chairman said those are 2 celebrations in a row. I was sitting right there about where Vivian's sitting. He said, South Carolina's a handshake state. He said, I'd rather have your hand in mine and your word than a signed contract. And back after World War II, when Mark Clark was the president of the Citadel, you remember him, 4-star general, great, great man. He said, there's more patriotism per square inch in this place than any place in the world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, they don't say that about every place that they go. And also, as somebody told me, said, when I go into a filling station or a grocery store, it said the lady working the cash register will call me honey, sweetie, darling, daily, baby, something before I get out. We are different. We are different. Every state's a little different, and they're great states, but there is nothing, there is not another place like this one. And this city is one of the crown jewels, and so I want to thank you for that. One more short story. Yeah, there was a fellow, he's a traveling salesman, and he was going from town to town. And whenever he was out of town on Sunday, he tried to find a little church to go to, and that's what he started doing. And he was up north one time, and he went into a went into a church, and then into the little social hall afterwards, and there was a payphone on the wall. Some of you know what a payphone is. Had a little sign above it. It said, calls to heaven, $10. He said, $10, a lot of change. Don't have $10, he couldn't make the call. So he was interested in that. He went to another place. Sure enough, there was a sign up there by the payphone in the social hall. Calls to heaven, $10. Didn't have it, couldn't make the call. He came to South Carolina, went into a little church, sure enough, social hall. There was a payphone, and above it, there was that sign. He looked at it, said, calls to heaven, 10 cents. He said, how can this be? This is different from every place I've been before. Preacher came by and said, preacher, can you explain this to me? Everywhere else where they have the phone there, it says call to heaven, $10. Here's 10 cents. Can you explain it? He says, sure, that's easy. South Carolina calls to heaven are local calls. All right. Okay. I got one more duty, one more thing to do. Won't take but a minute. Velda, come on. I mentioned people. One of them is Knox White. Knox doesn't know I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Knox is a great leader. He went to Wake Forest in law school, got elected mayor in '95 for that city council. The man is experienced, and he has put his heart into this place. And the record, the long list of things, the falls. I remember when the Reedy River caught on fire a long time ago. It was so dirty. But under his leadership and the leadership of a lot of other people all working together, this place is an absolute masterpiece. And I want to thank you for that. And if you will come forward, Knox, please. This is called the Order of the Palmetto. It's the highest honor that we have in this greatest state of South Carolina. And it's not given just for success in your profession. That counts as well. But you can't buy it. You don't apply for it. But people have to put you up for it. And Velda was one that did for this, and others as well. And we have a group that goes through these information and makes the decision as to whether this person who has been nominated for the Order of Palmetto has given extensive support and service above self to the whole state or beyond, not a specific incident or one or two, not a specific area, but the entire state for a sustained period of time. And Knox White has done that in spades. And so, Knox, I'll present it, if I may read. It says, the state of South Carolina, in grateful appreciation of contributions and friendship to the state of South Carolina and her people, I do hereby confer upon Knox H. White the Order of the Palmetto with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereto, signed by me, Henry D. McMaster, your proud, happy governor, on behalf on behalf of 5.3 million proud, happy South Carolinians. Congratulations and thank you, Mayor White. Say something.
No more stories, Governor. He's got so many of them. I'm thinking, oh, there's Rolodex of mine. I'm thinking, which one's he going to do next? Governor, first of all, I want to say on behalf of people of Greenville, as you complete your term as governor, in this world we live in today, there's no question about what Henry Master has meant. He has always been, all the controversies that surround him all the time, he's always been a uniter and not a divider. And thank you for that. And thank you for this, but nobody is more aware than I am that it takes everyone in this special place called Greenville to make these things possible. We talk about it, public-private partnerships, collaboration. It's sort of in our DNA, right, Mary? As you talk about it all the time. We knew all along with Unity Park we'd get this job done by hook or crook over 10 years if that's what it took, but it's because of so many people here today, the faces out in this crowd. It's just incredible to see it, to be on a journey like this with so many people and to leave something for future generations of Greenvillians. That's what this is all about. This is the future behind us. So thank you, everyone. Thank you. And thank you, Governor. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Governor, Mayor, Velda, Vivian, Mary, Shannon, and Paul. As has been said today, the Honor Tower stands between what were once two segregated parks, now united in a symbol of our progress and unity. This tower is not just a structure, it represents our community's journey, the soul of people, children who played, and the collaborative spirit that brings us together. It will shine a light on our historic southern side and West Greenville neighborhoods as a beacon of hope, reminding us of our shared history and collective future. We build up, we support each other, we improve and advance and connect. This tower is an expression of our gratitude to those who serve and a symbol of our city's unity and strength. It is emblematic of the spirit of Greenville. Thank you for being a part of this historic day. Now I would like to invite you to enjoy another song by the West End Community Ensemble as we prepare to cut the ribbon to open the Thomas and Vivian A. Wong Honor Tower in Unity Park. I would like to invite the Wong family, City Council, Shannon, Governor McMaster, and Mary Duckett to cut the ribbon. So if those folks could begin making their way over to the tower. Once they are in place and the song ends, we invite all of you to join us for the ribbon cutting. Thank you.
We bear, and Lord, you know us to love those who would do us wrong. Send your cleansing power from above. Let us unite our hearts as one. Make us a vessel to flow throughout your love. Oh, Lord, you know the pains we bear, and Lord, you know the toils and cares. Send your direction, send your protection, send your compassion and your love. Your love, divine. Your love, divine. Your
Okay.
Stacy Mills, can't see
Just a
you.
little bit. Right there. Great. Thank you. Isn't that her on the card? Thank you.
James taking charge.
John, whatever you need.
Where have you been?
I'm in the background. I'll hit people.
Put Jane in Velvet.
Oh, I can't wear heels like
Where's
that.
Mario?
I I've got my Columbia boots on, Dorothy.
And you're watching the ribbon cutting ceremony for the Honor Tower at Unity Park taking place right now. Greenville Mayor Knox White has the scissors in his hand. We heard from several South Carolina leaders so far this morning. Governor Henry McMaster to his right, also Vivian A. Wong there as well. They donated $1 million back in 2022 for the Honor Tower. Just a big day for the city of Greenville, a big day for Unity Park as well, and a fitting day for Unity Park, given the fact that it's Veterans Day. This was dedicated to those that serve our community, and it's a fitting day for that. You know, also a big symbolic moment for this tower as well, connecting two previously segregated parts of the city, Mayberry Park and Meadowbrook Park. Mary Duckett talked about that a bit earlier, and just how much of a big day it is for the city of Greenville, for the upstate, really, as well. You can see Vivian Wong there with the scissors. Mayor White has those scissors. We heard from Governor McMaster, who awarded the Order of the Palmetto to Mayor Knox White of the city of Greenville, not just for Unity Park and the work being done there, but for his decades of service to the city also. But a big day for us here. This is 3 years in the making. This started back in 2022. It's coming to conclusion in 2025. An $11 million project, $5.5 million of that in private donations, $1 million from the Wong family. $3.5 million as well, part of the local accommodations tax, $1 million from the hospitality tax, and $1 million from construction savings. We actually heard from the architecture firm as well. It rises 125 feet in the air. It rises 10 stories, and this will give people a place to reflect and think, to be able to go to the top and to be able to observe, showing off the Blue Ridge Mountains, the Greenville skyline. And I believe it was Mayor Knox White that said this. It's been years since we've been able to see those from this particular point in Greenville. In fact, this is the first major observation tower in the U.S. in nearly 25 years. We heard that from the architecture firm. So this is significant, and it brings together Unity Park. This is a place to play, this is a place to reflect, it's a place to honor our veterans, and it really speaks to the word in that Unity Park, big for downtown Greenville. So this is something that we've been excited about for some time here. It's great to see it completed. This opens to the public on Friday the 14th, so 3 days from now at 1 p.m. Visitors will have 30 minutes to walk up. There's an elevator as well to get to the top. Again, 10 stories there. You can get to the top and reflect for up to 30 minutes. That'll open up in just a few days, so you can go there, you can play, you can see that, and perhaps have a meal as well. All those things can be done at Unity Park. You know, I want to talk about Thomas and Vivian A. Wong as well, big contributors to the city of Greenville and to the upstate at large. They have over 60 years of time in the upstate. They open businesses in the upstate. They've contributed to philanthropic activities in the upstate also. Sadly, Thomas passed away in 2021 because of COVID. And Vivian lost her voice a little bit later because of COVID. You heard her speak a few minutes ago, talking about the importance of this project as well. Let's listen in to Mayor Knox White. It looks like they're about to cut this also as we gear up for the official ribbon cutting ceremony and the opening to the public. We have our Jane Robelo with us as well. You know, Jane, I know you've been out there all throughout the morning. You've covered this for years also. Just how important of a day is today for the city of Greenville?
We are waiting for Mary Duckett to arrive. Mary Duckett is the president of the Southern Side neighborhood. And you see her in her beautiful meet with her son next to her, city council members, the mayor, Vivian Wong and her two twin daughters, Michelle and Medina. And Detrick, there, the mayor is just saying, we've got Mary. Nothing happens in Unity Park without Mary Duckett.
Okay, the count of three, y'all gonna cut it. Okay,
Councilor Brazington.
Will.
Yeah. Okay, waiting on Velda Hughes to get them all in order.
Count of three, y'all gonna cut.
This is the culmination.
1, 2, 3.
Wonderful work. And Vivian Wong and Mayor Knox White officially cutting the ribbon for the 15th and final of the ceremonies for Unity Park in Greenville, South Carolina. What a wonderful, wonderful moment for Greenville, South Carolina, and for the entire state of South Carolina. And we hear the Weston Community Ensemble singing behind. An incredible day in Greenville, South Carolina.
And that was our Jane Robelo reporting. She's been out there all throughout the morning. We'll be there throughout the afternoon as well for WYFF News 4 at 4 and onward throughout our evening. Again, an exciting day for Greenville. Mayor Knox White said it best. It's the exclamation point on Unity Park, a 3-year project in the making, actually longer than that, 3-year construction project, I should say, coming to a conclusion. That'll be open to the public again at 1 p.m. on the 14th, so 3 days from now. And we'll have a full recap of the events from today from our Jane Robelo coming up on WYFF News 4 at 4 as well. We'll now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.